Hello, this is Joe Pryor, the Virtual Real Estate Team, and welcome to my website or to the YouTube channel. I want to do a series of videos about how we get started in real estate investing. And typically with me, since I deal with about 99.5% out-of-state investors, it starts with a Loom meeting. So I want to go through a few videos here that will explain the most frequently asked questions so that when we do get that first Zoom meeting together, that we're deeper into the process. So I'm going to hit on some high points. Now, the first thing that typically is asked by an investor that I've never met before is, who are you? What do you do? What are your credentials? Why should I trust you? And those are all great questions. They're the same questions that I would ask. So my history is, first of all, as a native Oklahoman. I grew up here in Oklahoma City, except for being away from college. I've lived here. I know this city. I've been all over the place. It is a city that I still want to stay in. And so I know this city. That's number one. Now, the second thing is I was a retail store owner for 16 years. I had 3 different stores in 3 different cities. And so I've done all the things that you have to do as an entrepreneur. But in 1989, I made the switch to real estate. Now, in 1989 in Oklahoma City, real estate was not in a great place. It was a 1982 bubble that burst called the energy bubble. And still, 7 years later, it was problematic. And so if you were dealing in real estate, you dealt with foreclosures. And what happens with foreclosures is you encounter a lot of investors. And so about 50% of who I sold were people buying investment property. Now, a very strong event happened to change my life about 2 or 3 years later, in that an associate of mine at my office decided to move to California. And he had a group that he was their Sunday school teacher of semi-retired and retired older people, and said, look, you understand VA and HUD repos, I'm leaving. Will you take care of my folks? And I encountered the most delightful group of people that I've dealt with in my 30 years of real estate. And we were buying a lot of property together. And, you know, these people became the millionaires next door, and that's what I'm very proud of. But the thing is I really didn't understand what a good investment was. I knew they were buying a great value, but I didn't know what was a good investment. And so I decided at that point, I need a lot of education. If I'm going to do this full time with investors, you need to know that I have the education to say this is why it's a good investment. So I started out with every residential training course that I could take, which was fantastic, and even segued into the most difficult real estate course of all, CCIM, commercial course, because I just wanted as much knowledge as possible. And so that was the basis for what I have created in my business at this time. But it comes with more than that. In other words, you want to deal with somebody that's an investor also. So for instance, would you buy a home from somebody who's a realtor that says, you know, I don't like to buy homes, I just rent? No, you want somebody that's a homeowner. I'm a long-term investor, as is my wife. We still invest in real estate, so we have the experience personally of knowing what it's like to be a landlord. Now, the other thing is, after about 2,000 properties sold, I have a pretty good experience about what's going on. And so I've sold all over the city. And so I have a tremendous knowledge base just on the sheer amount of transactions that we've done. Now, finally, I've put together over these years the finest team I've ever had. That includes the virtual real estate team, lenders, insurance, property management, inspections, everything. And we all work together to better your ends. And so that's the basis of what I put together for you when I talk about what my credentials are. And the other thing is, I'm always going to put you first. And we're going to start slowly, as always. But if we can build confidence, if I do everything that's right, and everybody else involved with me does everything that's right, then we're going to be able, on a long-term basis, of building your financial wellness. That's who I am.